The point of my book, Day of the Assassins, A History of Political Murder, is to bring some analytical rigour and order to something which may seem very disconcerting and random and inexplicable. And the way I've gone about that is to look at some assassinations, beginning actually with that of Julius Caesar in 44 BC, which were the result of elite conspiracies, in this case by social equals. Secondly, however, I also look at assassinations where, yes, a particular individual, or more likely a group of quite marginal individuals, get together to kill somebody. And in fact, the conspirators who killed Abraham Lincoln would be a very good example of this. But nonetheless, you could argue that they were representative of a very significant body of opinion in the society of the time, i.e. in this case, a lot of Southerners who supported slavery. So the people who killed Lincoln were acting, as it were, on behalf of a large part of the nation. The other third main category of assassin that I deal with in the book are people who externalise their private misery by highly symbolic political killing. And in a way, it reflects their attempt to intersect with the forces of history, as the American novelist Don DeLillo once very succinctly put it. That it's the day, what happens on that day is that when the assassin finally becomes an exalted historical figure of some significance. And this would mean complete nobodies and losers like Lee Harvey Oswald, the man who shot President Kennedy, and I do not believe any sort of conspiracy was involved. And several other assassins in the book who were acting for those reasons, that it was to do with their own internal turmoil and their desire to make themselves into big historical figures or to change the course of history. You can see that also, by the way, in a number of the early modern assassinations I deal with, where killing somebody because they were a Catholic monarch or a Protestant monarch would obviously alter the confessional allegiances of an entire state. The last category of assassins are obviously the professionals, you might say. In other words, people who work for states and are paid operatives of states. And they would include what, in my opinion, are the most lethal assassins in the whole book, who are the operatives of the Soviet-era NKVD, the Stalinist secret police, who went to extraordinary lengths, I mean, mind-boggling lengths, to adopt different identities and then to go to places abroad to murder people. They were very active in the Spanish Civil War, killing dissident leftists on the Republican side, and then went on from there to assassinate people like Ukrainian nationalists living in German cities like Munich. And then, of course, eventually in 1940, a mother and son team, Caridad and Ramon Mercado, went to Mexico and, under different identities, murdered Leon Trotsky in his own home in Mexico City. However, the Russians, of course, we should never think that the Russians or the NKVD or its successor organisation, the KGB, or Russian military intelligence, the GRU, are the only people active in this game, because certainly during phases where it's been less an organisation devoted to espionage and more one devoted to paramilitary activity, and the two things are quite distinct, the CIA has certainly involved in major campaigns of assassination, notably during the Vietnam War, where they had a program called the Phoenix Program, in the course of which they murdered anywhere between 25 and 40,000 so-called Viet Cong cadres who were just bumped off in order to break the structures, the administrative structures, which the Viet Cong had imposed on southern Vietnamese villages. So they were into murder in a big way. And then, of course, in the Kennedy era, you've got the whole saga of them trying repeatedly to kill Fidel Castro normally by quite bizarre means, like exploding cigars or putting exploding conch shells on the seabed for when he went diving, that he might pick one up. And at one point they definitely tried to co-opt the mafia into actually murdering Castro.